Hello everyone! It's Wednesday, time for another Shimelle sketch. So this is the sketch you're going to be working with this week. It has one 4x6 photo and then some layers behind and a strip down here. So my plan for this sketch, I'm going to stick with the photo being here, but the rest of this is going to be quite different. I want to do some more clusters, and I'm going to play a little bit with mixed media. So we're going to do a couple different things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine this sketch with a challenge in the Secret Not Secret Kit Cubs scrap party, which was this past weekend. We all had to pick a partner, and my partner is Brianna. Brianna, I think her last name is Leaper on YouTube. Anyway, she's on the Spiegel Mom Scraps design team with me. She's on the Shimmers design team. She's fabulous. If you've never heard of her, I will link her channel below. How about that? Okay. So, and we were given 3 parameters for a layout. So she gave me the 3 parameters and I gave her 3. So my layout has to include mixed media and ephemera and no red. So that's what we're doing. That's easy. And so what I'm going to do is now I pulled a ton of product. I'm not going to use it all. This is going to be my photo. The sketch calls for a photo that is 5x7. And my plan is to give this a nice matte, and kind of to chunk up the layers and get my photo to be just a little bit bigger with the layers underneath. For the mixed media element, I have pulled out some stencils, some snowy stencils. I also pulled this one out. I'm not sure which stencil I might use, but I just pulled out some wintry ones, and then I pulled this one, this repeating quilt stencil. And I'm going to be pairing that stencil with some embossing paste, and I pulled some shimmers out in Pinko de Mayo and the Spritz and Cotton Candy just for a little bit more pink if I think that I want it. For my die cuts, I pulled a couple die cuts from some Maggie Holmes die cuts. I just have these free. These that are rather large. I don't know if I'm gonna use them all, if I just might use 1 or 2. I haven't decided yet, but I liked the gold. I have 2 epoxy flares packs that I think would be really cute with this, with my snowy theme. And then I have 2 die cuts. I want to use this sweet and this one and stack them and make some stacked die cut embellishments. For papers, I'm going to be using this wood grain as my background, although I think I'm going to turn it this way and have it run this way. I think this will complement the lines of my photograph better. And then I have some nice bright pink papers that I can play with. This one, I'm thinking this one's going to get like a punched edge, and it's going to come over here, but I liked this. This is an older one from Paige Evans, but I liked it because it looked really, it's pink, but it's like that, almost like a sweater type of a pattern. This one, really pretty. And then just this little offcut. And then I grabbed some labels because the sketch has some labels on it. And I wanted to make sure that I got the date for this photo down. Plus this gold, I want to pull some gold in. So that is my plan. I think my first step, though, is going to be I'm going to film the background the way I want, and the background piece. And then I'm going to cut lots and lots of these. So I'm going to cut this sweet a bunch of times. And I'm going to cut the snowflakes a bunch of times. And I'm going to layer them up to make stacked die cuts, which on camera is highly tedious. So I'm not going to do it on camera. And so that is my plan. I'm going to do some pink snowflakes. And then I also have this paper. This is Sugar Plum paper from Close to My Heart. And I just pulled this out for die cutting. So my plan is just to die cut snowflakes and this title. The top will be this pink, and then the underneath layers will just be white. So that is my plan. So let's get started with the mixed media background, and then we'll come back, and then we'll come back after. I'll do the background, and then we'll die cut all these. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and follow my plan here and start with this wood grain background, and I want that pink piece to be a part of my main layout plan. I'm going to grab a pencil and I'm just going to go ahead and make 2 little tick marks where the photo will be, and I'm trying to decide which one of these stencils I want to use. I'm going to decide on first this snowflake stencil, but that other really cool one that looks like quilty, we're going to be using that one too, just in another way. So this is embossing paste from Ulta. So currently my favorite embossing paste. I think it's probably, or it's definitely as good as Faber-Castell's Lip Spackle. Like, that's how good it is. Really, really nice paste. I'm just going to create 3 little areas of snowflakes. Most of this are, I'm going to be layering things on top of it, so I'm not worried about kind of like the sharp edges, but I definitely want to get some of that design onto the paper. I'm going to set that aside to dry completely, and then I also have this brilliant idea that I can use this quilted stencil to create some texture on this side piece that I'm going to use, and that turns out so good. I'm so glad I thought of this. That quilted stencil is so cute and fun. I got this stencil from Click Kits. Wow, it has to be over a year old, and I haven't used it. This is the first time I'm using it. Yeah, all right. I buy a lot of stuff. But this is really, really cute, and I'm super glad that I discovered it and used it, because I think it's going to be used for some other layouts for this winter, because it's just really nice stencil. So I'm going to put the embossing paste down the entire side of this paper, and then I'm going to set everything off to the side, let everything dry overnight completely, thoroughly. I have learned the art of being patient with mixed media products, because I really don't like it when I try to rush the drying process. So while that was drying, I cut all of these die cuts. So the top one is that light pink. So we have 2 different styles of snowflakes, and then the sweet. And they're stacked. So there's underneath the pink is like 3 or 4 of the same die cuts or punches, because one of those snowflakes is a punch with white. So I'm using my cotton candy shimmers, and I'm just really giving it a liberal. This looks like a lot, but don't forget that I'm only going to be using the die cut pieces. And this is a spritz, so it's a really, really light color, and it just kind of gives it a little sparkle. It perfectly matches the color of that sugar plum cardstock, so it's really, really a really light effect. In fact, I don't even think you can see it that well on camera. I think you have to see it in person. So I took one of the offcuts of that sugar plum cardstock after I had die cut everything I needed, and I cut it to be 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, and we're going to go ahead and use that to mount my photo. I disappeared for a second because I needed my tape runner. My tape went out on my tape runner. And so I just needed to turn around and refill it very quickly. So that is for that one. Now, I love this bokeh, and I figured it would look fabulous as a larger piece behind my photo to set my photo off. And also, because if I used it and cut it down and used it, then that was it. It was a scrap of paper that was no longer part of my stash, which I am all for. So if you are not part of our Rediscover Your Stash, the Facebook group, then you might want to get over and get your request to join in today, because today we are starting our year-long spending freeze. Or not year-long. Oh my gosh, no, I would die. That would be bad. Not year-long. Month-long. Just for January. Where we have challenges and we have giveaways, and we try to get through as much of our stash and not buy anything new for the entire month of January. So if that's something that interests you, you can find the Facebook group link in my information below. I'm sorry. I was like, oh, my son's in this video. Didn't realize he had gotten in there with me. But yeah, he was, so remember back in the video when I did my tape runner, he likes to play with my empty tape runner refills. I don't understand it. It's odd. But he does. He likes to take them apart and play with the gears, see how they work, and it's kind of nice because, you know, my empty tape runner refill has a second life. Right? Right. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and start adding the ephemera pieces in. My title is going to be Hello Sweet. I like it. I decided it didn't have to make sense. I love this little camera, and I love that it has a little bit of the minty green that's in part of the greenish grays that are in the background of my photo, and it breaks up a little bit of the pink. I discovered that I adore the gold, so I wanted to definitely use those gold pieces. I actually ended up using all of those large ephemera pieces that I had set aside. I didn't think I was going to use them all, but I did, in fact, use all of them. What I didn't use was the paper, so a lot of the pattern papers that I had pulled out and thought that I would use, I ended up not using those at all. So now all of those die cuts are adhered down. I'm going to go ahead and check the date, and I'm going to put the date on this label, and then I'm going to just let this kind of stuck to my media mat for a while, because those Gen Had filled labels need some extra drying time so you don't smear the ink. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to go ahead and adhere all of my snowflakes and those beautiful epoxy flares where I want them. And then the last thing I'm going to do is adhere my label sticker. So that's that. I am so happy with how this layout turned out. I think it just turned out so cute. I love it. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you all again tomorrow with another video. And yeah, come and play along with us with one of Shimelle's sketches. And we'd love to have you. See you all again very soon. Bye.